Hey there, comic fans. It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic here. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Lehmann bookbinding process. I've had a few people reach out and ask for a video as to how I get my books ready and send them out. So I've got about 10 binds here that I'm going to be sending out in the next couple weeks. So we'll take a look at that, how I do my process, all that. Quickly look at a brief book. I've got the order forms here as well, so we'll take a look at that. But it's a pretty straightforward process. Keep in mind, I do not ship these myself. I just I drive them over there. It's not a far drive for me, so I bring it straight to Lehman. So that'll be the only difference here. But here's a little look at the order form. We'll get into that a bit more with some more details. I'll sort of talk about what I do for my own order forms, but that's pretty much it. We're going to do that. For those of you that are curious to what Lehman needs and how to fill out your form and all that jazz, hopefully this helps you all out. I've also got a little pile here that I'm going to be prepping to send in as well, little Hickman X-Men pile. So I'll quickly add that into the steps as well to give you sort of an overview of the entire process. So very excited about this. I love my custom binds. Alrighty, so looking at the order form here, it's a standard order form. You go on their website, click on order forms. It's right there. I'll put a little visual on the screen for you guys to see, but basically that you get this blank form, you fill out your personal details, phone, name, and then everything else is what I fill out is what's on the screen here. So obviously the color number is pretty important too. That's what you're looking at for the actual buckram itself. You can find the reference for the color numbers on their color form sheet. It sort of gives you a general look at what the color is going to be like, and you can decide which one you'd like. I'm not sure if they have more options. I haven't seen anything else on their website. That's pretty much all I've seen. But next time I'm in there, I will definitely inquire as to further options if that's possible as well. Everything I do is either on Paint or Photoshop now that I've upgraded to Photoshop. But you could easily do this on Paint. You could also print out the empty form and fill it all out by hand if you'd like. You got the spine lettering options, gold, black, white. Again, those are the only options as far as I'm aware, but they're nice, elegant options, so I'll give them that. Really, I've never made any clamshell boxes or phase boxes, so I can't give you much info there, but there are also options to repair, rebind, or recase something if that's what you're looking for. In terms of binding instructions, I will usually tell them to trim. What that means is they'll trim the book block so that it's even. Sometimes when they're binding something, if it's not trimmed, you'll have certain pages that stick out a little bit more, but that's up to you as well. I'll go for a buckram bind usually. The cloth bind is essentially the same material as the buckram without that sort of wax on top of it, so it doesn't have the shine to it. And as far as I'm aware, it may not last as long, or it may wear more easily without that wax. You can do full leather, half leather, quarter leather. A lot of really cool options there as well. And then, if you want to have them do some more restoration, you can have them restore pages or a spine if that's what you're looking for. And then for other instructions, I just write down these same 5 things every time. Just tell them I want a DFA glued, which is what they would probably do anyway if I didn't write that, because I do rip out ads out of my book. I asked them again to trim the book block. First and last pages may be stuck to the packing boards. This is primarily a line I use if I'm using trade paperbacks. In the case of this Catwoman, I'm not, but figured it's better to have in there than have them just be really vicious while they're opening up the packaging. Ribbon, bookmark, head and tail bands. And then for the title itself, all you really do is I'll usually just draw the spine itself. If you want these little elegant lines at the top, just draw in some lines there, and then fill out your spine however you want. Whatever the design is you're looking for, just fill that out and they will hook it up for you. They're pretty damn good with that. Once that's done, got to make sure your books are ready. So like I said, I've got my pile of Hickman X-Men books here running from Hoxpox all the way to issue 12 right before X of Swords, which I'll be getting the OHC for since it's so much more cost effective. But you'll go from this to this. And basically once you've got your books cut up, it's whatever you want. I mean, you can take out the ads if you want. That's what I personally do. I don't have to remove the staples. You don't have to remove them for Lehman. I'll usually just get rid of the extra paper so that, the bind is a little thinner. I mean, it's a significant amount of paper, even though ads are getting more trickier to get rid of now, but still a pretty thick bind here. I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I think I'm just going to go with the one volume, but I recommend removing ads, especially if you've got older comics. I mean, it just gets rid of excess paper, and with those older comics, there's probably a lot of it in there. So I do recommend doing that, but hey, at the end of the day, it's your bind, your choice. Once you've got that all done, you've printed out your order form sheet thing, filled it out. Usually what I'll do for packaging my books is I will put them in between two backing boards, put some elastic bands around it. Again, I don't ship these. If you're shipping them, I suggest something sturdier and, maybe more protective of the books. Make sure it's packed in there properly so that they're not moving around too much. I mean, a worse nightmare must be pages getting out of order here. But here I've got my Catwoman bind. This is the Rebirth Joelle Jones run. Very excited to have this bound into a nice purple volume. I think I went with purple anyway. It would make sense to. I forget. It's been a while. And then I'll just slip in that order sheet form right on top so that it matches what Lehmann's going to be doing. But keep in mind now, so one thing you should know is they're going to look at this form and they're going to go, this is the order it's in. So if you, by accident, put that form, even upside down on the last page as opposed to on the back as opposed to the front, they may mess that up for you. So bear in mind with that. You just do that for all the books. Send it in. Again, if you're shipping it, it's a different story from what I've been up to, but I personally just drive it in, which is never a big problem. Having some camera difficulties here, but that's about it. I mean, there's not much else to it. The biggest part is prepping it yourself. If you don't want to prep it, you don't have to. I'm sure they can do a nice Smith sewn binding for you as well, so you don't have to deal with the glued binding, whatever it may be. There are a lot of options there. You can always call them too. They're usually pretty good at picking up the phone, except for the fact that they have very strange hours of operation. But hey, it happens. But yeah, that's about it. If you're going to ship it, make sure you package it properly. You don't want any pages getting mangled or falling out somehow and getting misplaced, put in the wrong order, craziness like that. But hopefully this was helpful. Nice quick short video. If you guys do have any more questions, feel free to ask us down below in the comment section. We'll definitely get to it. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Hopefully this helped once again. I really hope so. It's not a crazy process, but it can get a bit confusing as to what you need to fill in on the form specifically. So feel free to ask away. Thank you all very much. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. Until next time, you stay classy, Internet.